Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Chris.
And I'm Bobby.
And we're back for another episode of Embers and Insights. And today we are going to be talking about kind of all you need to know about cigar bands. I think it's another not underappreciated, maybe another overlooked aspect of the cigar world. You know, I think I feel like every band tells a story, obviously, and it kind of taps into the theme of a cigar. One of my favorite, I guess, band's box is theme is the Tatuaje Monster series. I know that's very limited, but you have the box with blood splatter on it, and then he's naming each cigar after a monster, right? Frankenstein, Chucky, Chainsaw, Texas Leatherface. I just said chainsaw, but yeah, Leatherface.
Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, Chainsaw Man. Yeah, that's another thing I think. That's an anime. Yes.
Yep.
But no, we're gonna kind of go into the importance or significance of cigar bands, kind of some of our favorite cigar bands, what you can do with cigar bands. I'm trying to hide this over here. I'll show it towards the end. There's some cool things you can do with them when you take them off, and then kind of the history behind it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they first start out in the cigar world, they kind of look at different cigar bands and see what pops to them. Because I know when my first time in a humidor before I started in the industry, I noticed Camacho bands just because they're vibrant, they're very colorful. So those kind of stuck out to me. But then when you really get into the nitty gritty, you have the My Fathers, the La Roma de Cubas, the Ashtons, the AJ Fernandez, the Fuente bands. There's countless bands that are just, they put the real time and effort in to make them look special and make the cigar pop on a shelf.
And you mentioned the historical older brands. When you look at brands from the last 15 years, you got Crown Heads and Foundation Cigars. Mainly.
Oh yeah.
Their bands are very, thematic. When what's his name? Nick Melillo did the Highclere Castle. Mm-hmm. That was based off the mansion from the show Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
They had the castle on the band. I think that's really, I think that's just pretty cool to do.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So yeah, what, in your experience or your opinion, what's the purpose of a band?
So I think the band, it tells a story, like you said earlier. I think it's to distinguish the cigars amongst others. I know if you're smoking something in the same line, I'm smoking a La Roma de Cuba, Mi Amor. So
yeah, and I'm smoking AJ Fernandez New World Dorado. So yeah, continue what you were saying about under certain lines.
Yeah, so under certain lines, they're used to distinguish between others. There's some brands like Camacho that use color to distinguish, but they're all typically the same band except for some of the limited editions that you'll see out there. But I think the main reason why they make the bands is because just to really tell a brand story behind it, whether or not it's heritage of the company, the year that the cigar was first released in the market. You'll see 1875 on a lot of the Romeo bands. You'll see 1844 on a lot of the Upman bands. Mm-hmm. So there's many different ways to distinguish cigars based just on the band, And as you dive deeper into cigars and your cigar journey, I think that you appreciate the bands a bit more, other than, some people that you see in a retail shop and they're like, oh, I want the, that one with the red band, and there's 50 different cigars with the red band. So you never know exactly what they're talking about. But once you really dive into it, it's something to appreciate about the cigar.
No, I couldn't agree more. I like seeing certain cigars that have multiple bands too, whether it be a foot band or like that one where it has I would say its main band and secondary band.
Yeah, secondary band. Yep.
It's just crazy, the artwork and the theme that go into these cigars. I know there's other cigar brands excuse me, Dunbarton will have the Now Leave Me the Hell Alone with just the yellow foot band.
Yep.
I would, it might be contradictory to this episode, but I would love to see a cigar company just sell a cigar with no bands on them.
Yeah.
And because I feel like there's such loyalty to all, each brand has a loyal following. a lot more than some more than others, have it's like cult like following.
Oh, totally.
But I would like to see like what happens if just like Aganorsa just released a cigar without a band, right? Like it would still sell because it's a great cigar.
Yeah.
I think it just the band, the branding, the box, all of that under branding and whatnot. I think that just adds more to, like you said, the story and kind of creating a story for each cigar line.
Yeah, and I think you do see some out there, and it's usually like seconds or overruns and things like that, where the bundle will have some type of branding on it, but the cigar will be unbanded in some cases. But you'll typically always see a band on a cigar, and I think that would be hilarious if a company releases did a whole line without a band on it. I think that would be funny to see the feedback on that.
I'm waiting for the day. It's not really the same thing, but I'm waiting for the day where someone just drops a movie like on Netflix, like a famous, like just Tarantino or Sandler or you name it. It just appears.
Yeah, without any,
because you see like there was a trend of albums just coming out, right? Like Beyonce did that. I feel like most artists have just
Drake's done that.
Yeah, like albums here, like without any promotion.
Yep.
I would like to see. Obviously, movies might be a little bit different because you want to see the trailer leading up to it, but it'd be interesting to just see how that goes, because I think like Davidoff could just release a cigar without a band, and it's still gonna make money, and it's gonna be good. But it would just be an interesting experiment, and for me anyway, to kind of see how the interaction or the reaction within the industry would be. All right, so we're gonna try and get through this without laughing, okay. But. The history of cigar bands was made by a Dutchman in the 1830s called Gustav. His name was Gustav Bach. And he had a factory, and I guess he would mark every cigar that he, exported from Europe to Cuba with bands bearing his signature, which I think that's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's badass, and that's something that I never knew previously until we wrote about the blog.
Yeah, I didn't either. So if you and I ever make a cigar down the line, we should just do our initials.
Yeah, exactly.
B.O. Bobby and Arangio.
B.O. and that's the special.
That's the special.
Special smell, special scent that the cigar will have.
No, but that would be pretty badass to just have your initial on the band, and it just be like a one color band and just initial.
Yeah,
I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, I would say he's pretty, his pretty genius for doing that. Mm-hmm. It's kind of simple and effective, and I think it definitely helped cigars stand out more with the bands on each specific cigar. And obviously the evolution has just grown from there, where it was just started out with his initials, and then people designing the famous logo of like Monte Cristo, H. Upman, and Romeo. Those are dawned on the bands as well. Do you ever have any trouble like reading the band sometimes?
Sometimes when there's very intricate bands, like my father, for example, they have very, very intricate bands, and I'm trying to notice every little detail on there. I mean, even this La Roma de Cuba has so much going on, and I love it. I love looking at it and examining it while I'm smoking it. There is times where I'm kind of curious and have to Google like what certain things mean, or like who the person is on the band, or whatever it may be. But for the most part, once you dive into the different cigars and you've smoked so many, it's a little easier to distinguish band from band or brand from band.
Yes, yeah.
If you want to say it that way.
Yeah. What's some of your favorite bands? And you can think about some of your favorite cigars, or just, I don't know how you are, but I'm not a car guy, if that wasn't obvious. But there's times where I'll look at a car, obviously like the model of it, and then like the model and then the color are the first things I look at.
Yep.
I should probably be looking at like, how's the gas mileage, the engine, shit like that.
I'm just like you.
I'm like, oh look, a lime green Ferrari, or like a yellow Ferrari, and I'm just immediately attracted to it. So are you kind of like that with cigar boxes and cigar bands, like where you will look at a band and just have you ever in the past looked at a band and like, I'm buying it solely because of the band? I'm guilty of that.
I'd say when I first started out, I have done that before. And now that you see so many new boutique cigars out there, like, Black Label and Blackworks, they have a lot of really awesome branding and awesome cigar bands, boxes. So there'll be cigars that I've seen that they've made that I don't really know too much about. I'll do some research on it after, but if I'm in the store hunting around something new to try out and I see, Killer Bee or something like that, I'll definitely pick it up solely for that reason. They have some awesome branding on their stuff that I really love. I'm a sucker for my father's bands. I'm a sucker for all the stuff that Foundation makes and everything, everything that Nick Melillo puts into his projects. It really just always comes out great and looks incredible on the end. And while you're smoking it, it's something to enjoy looking at.
Did you ever smoke the My Father-in-Law Promesa?
Yeah.
Promesa, I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Promesa, I believe.
That box and band were like, that came out, or like maybe came out a year before I started, and like I remember us having it up here, and I was just like, this is beautiful. Like, this band is just beautiful.
Yeah, and it has a blue foot ribbon on it, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it was like kind of coral, pinkish, white, reds, like, it was just a really good mixture. I was like, this is beautiful.
Yeah, and I think
and the cigar is really good. I haven't seen it anywhere in a while, but
another
that
one
band was beautiful.
Yeah, oh for sure. Yeah, one of my my favorites and my father's favorite actually is the La Opulencia. It has a similar style, but it has the green ribbon on the footband there. That's another beautiful project by my father.
I will say right now, off the top of my head, I'll give one brand their flowers or their tobacco leaves for
I like that
for branding and their bands is Oscar Valadares.
Yeah,
between the Superfly Connecticut, one of my favorites, the Wild Hunter, with the camouflage box, the camouflage band. It's meant to go hunt, smoke a cigar while you're hunting or after hunting. The Leaf By series with like little tobacco leaf wrapped around the cigar. So I think like their bands, the Island Gym, their 10th anniversary cigar, like it was like turquoise and yellow and white. They really, you can go with a laundry list of brands that have phenomenal bands on their cigars. But for me, Oscar Valadares and Crown Heads always stand out above the rest. Always.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of the Leaf by Oscar, that's one of the only cigars that does that. That instead of using cellophane, they use actual tobacco leaf to wrap the cigar. And I've had many people come up to me and they go, "Oh, what's that cigar that's wrapped in the leaf?" I had my uncle ask me one time, and he was just ecstatic about it and thought it was the coolest thing ever.
I remember I was at a cigar lounge and some guy was like, "Your cigar is screwed up," and I was like, "Haha, nope." And I showed him it, and he's like, like it was like a kid that first day, like their first Christmas they remember. He's like Owen Wilson. Wow. That's how he was, man. Like I was ready, and I'm never ready to correct people. Like I hate when I get corrected, and I hate correcting people because I think it's just a DB thing to do.
I mean,
but for him, I was like, actually, I went from the logic of actually, it's pretty cool. This is how they do it.
Yeah.
So
there's a time and a place for correction too, as well, because now that cigars have evolved with how many bands they have. I mean, this one has a regular band, a secondary band. Some will have cedar as well, with a foot band, and sometimes you really can't tell. So funny enough, there was a time when I was smoking in the lounge next door, and some guy was lighting up a Fuente that he probably spent $15 or $20 on, and he was lighting up the ribbon and the cedar on it.
Oh, that must have gone up in flames.
And he was torching it, and I had to just go up and stop him. Not in a polite way, but I was like, dude, you probably paid like $15, $20 for that thing. You don't want to ruin your experience there. And
because knowing him, he'll burn the first third off and like, where the hell did my cigar go?
Exactly. Yeah, the whole thing will just get torched, and it'll ruin the flavor in the wrapper and everything like that. Especially with just having a singular footband as well, without the cedar. That's one thing that novices tend to overlook before they start sparking up. Funny enough, I was in Alabama for an event for cigars.com this weekend and this past weekend, and someone almost lit up their cigar with the footband on. So we had to, we ran up and made sure that he didn't light it up like that, or else he would have been, getting some metallic taste in there that you don't really want.
Quickly, let's do a little live promo for you. You were on a podcast down there.
Yes.
Do you want to kind of give the followers a shout out of what the podcast name is so they can go and watch it?
Yeah. It was the Bad Beard podcast. Sam was the host. He was an awesome guy. He has an awesome setup. It's basically like a traveling podcast. He was a few tenths down from us, and I really appreciated him having me on there. So if you guys want to check out that episode, Bad Beard podcast, they're on YouTube, Spotify. So go give him a follow, and thanks again, Sam.
Yeah. I know you didn't want me to listen to it, but I figured I'd give you a shout out. I watched it. You were good on there because you were educating him very well with cigars, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because he never smoked before.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was a cigarette smoker, but it was his first time smoking one of our cigars, I would say.
Yeah.
He said he had smoked in the past, but he hadn't smoked.
But you smoked the Bardstown.
Yeah, we were smoking the Monte
podcast,
Cristo Bardstown exclusively on cigars.com, so go
Yes.
check that out. And yeah, it seemed like he enjoyed it. He was worried. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to turn green," But
I thought it was a great podcast.
Yeah.
That's a really cool event. I have never. I think one thing you definitely need to do if there is a footband at the bottom of your cigar, don't chance it. Don't move it up. Just take it off. And we'll get into it in a little bit, like what to do if you want to save them. Another big question is about bands is when should you remove them? Should you remove them before smoking, during smoking? Should you smoke through them? Absolutely not.
Yeah, don't do that.
Never that, as Bobby says. But it's really preference. Maybe because we're used to doing videos for cigars.com, we keep the bands on so we can show them what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm smoking by myself, I in the beginning I would take them off. But then someone would be like, "What are you smoking?" And then you're just like, you either have to go back to the garbage or scrounge. Oh, this is what I was smoking.
Yeah.
My father-in-law, he saves them.
I do.
Because then he's
well.
like, because he's a little bit older, so he doesn't remember the names. So he's like, "Do you have this one?" Or he saves them because if he really likes them, he's like, "All right, it's memorable."
Yep.
So it really is preference. If you want to remove it before you smoke, that's fine. If you want to smoke it up to like where we're smoking them now, that's fine. I've smoked it up to where, the ash is right beneath the band. You can do that too. The only thing I would say is just be careful because there's times where if you're ripping it, you might burn yourself.
Yeah.
So that's just another thing to be cautious of. But there's really no right way or wrong way on when to take the band off.
Yeah, some people will take it off before they start smoking as well if they're in a group environment and they're smoking, $50 cigar and someone else may be smoking something in a bundle and they don't really want to kind of, be...
That's a good point. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, they don't want to be that guy that's, I'm smoking, what are you smoking? They got this $50 Padron or Davidoff that they're laying up while some guy's smoking a bundle. And then another thing, like you were saying with damaging the band, with taking the band off too early, if you do smoke it up to the band, the heat actually allows it to be taken off a bit easier as you get closer up to the band. So that's typically when I start to remove my band. But it's all personal preference at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, that's an interesting point you make that, I used to get kind of embarrassed of what I would smoke because I'm like, oh, I'm not smoking the best of the best. But now, I don't take a band off to hide what I'm smoking.
Yeah, you smoke what you like at the end of the day, man. Yeah. It's just like food. It's just like wine. You smoke what you like. Everyone has a different palate.
Everyone. You and I know our palate is completely different. I feel like you like the stronger stuff.
I like full body. I'm a nicotine fiend.
Yes. I've been recently like gravitating more towards Connecticut wrapped cigars, whether it be broadleaf, whether it be Connecticut shade. But full bodied like kind of makes me sweat and all that. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I don't need that. So the last bit of like information we want to give you guys about cigar bands before we wrap up the episode is what to do with your bands when you rip them off. If you want to collect them, that's I've seen people around the office collect them.
Yep. I have probably 2 boxes full and a whole bag at home full, and I'm still waiting to find something to do with it. And Chris is going to show us something pretty awesome here soon.
Yeah. So if you remove it, right? One of our coworkers, I want to give her a shout out, Liz. I didn't even ask her. She just made me this. It's a bunch of cigar bands. And she told me to inform you guys, all you need is a canvas and Mod Podge. And that's that. She did no, really. She said it's just that easy. She did also mention to flatten them, put them in a book or something that can kind of compress them up to 6 months.
Okay.
Just to make sure that they are flat. And then you Mod Podge them. I have this at my desk. It's awesome. I've wanted to make like a card table like this.
Yeah.
My wife is very crafty, so I figured we could kind of do something like that and either put like, plexiglass over it or Mod Podge it. That'd be a cool like card table if you're playing.
Yeah.
Because I'm a card shark only for Rummy 500. Every other card game, I'm kind of like,
hey man.
But I could
teach you Texas
Hold'em.
I can.
All right, but I can throw down on Rummy 500. Next time we hang, we'll have to play, and I'll have to show you how it's done.
Okay. You teach me something, I'll teach you something.
Yeah, exactly.
But the table thing is awesome. I've seen a couple people that have actually done what you were saying. They put them on a table, and then they'll put some glass over it. Yeah. There's other ways, apart from what Chris mentioned. There's cigar band banks.
Yes.
Where you can, it's basically like a piggy bank for cigar bands, where you put them in, and they're sometimes they're framed.
Yeah.
So there's many different ways that you can collect them. But I think the thing that Liz made is super badass. Yeah. It's just awesome, and it pops, and that's probably one of the easiest ways to go about it, and it's a memorable experience for all the different cigars you've smoked over the years.
To show you how crafty she is, she made this ashtray for us too.
Shout out Liz.
Yeah, man, she just crushes everything she does.
Hell yeah,
especially fantasy football. I'm being serious too. She beat my ass.
She murked me too last week. Yeah, murked me too.
But no, I think cigar bands. I think you're really able to get a sense of the brand behind the band. I know that's a mouthful to say, but you're able to kind of get a sense of who they are. Like Aganorsa, the guardian of the farm, with the dogs on the bands, because those cigars were kind of meant to pay homage to the dogs protecting the leaves down in Nicaragua.
Even though they're the sweetest dogs ever.
Yeah, but like that. Have you met them?
No, I've never been to Nicaragua. I've just heard stories.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. Like AJ Fernandez's New World, like every like the New World Cameroon has a band of featuring tobaccos from that region. Crown Heads is very music themed, so Headley Grange for Zeppelin, the CHC Series E that came out a while ago. That was that band was Eddie Van Halen's guitar.
Yeah.
The pattern of his guitar. Foundation is Nick Melillo loves history. He's a history buff. All of them are historically accurate images from there. So it kind of gives you a glimpse into the people making these cigars.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think that's a very, like I said, I don't want to say underappreciated, but like an overlooked aspect of the cigar industry.
Yeah, unless you're a cigar nerd, there's really, there's not, people don't really look at it that way. Mm-hmm. Unless you've been smoking for some time. They'll just gravitate towards the cigars that they like and the bands that they like, typically.
Yeah. I've been saying this forever. Cigars is, I would like to consider myself an artist. Not starving because I got a belly, but a struggling artist.
No.
Yes, but no, I'm being serious. But like an artist, and cigars there's an art form behind it, and from blending it to crafting it to curating what tobaccos are going to be in it, and then it comes the box, then it comes the branding,
yep,
then it comes the bands. So it's a lot more. As we continue to work in this industry, I feel like there's just so many layers to it that on the surface, your first year, I'm just going to use him for example, like Tyler on the first year, he might not see, or anyone starting on the first year, they might just see like, oh, it's just cigars, right? And as you work more, as you write more, as you're just meeting more of the people in the industry, you're like, oh yeah, this is deeper, and then I think you find an appreciation for it.
Yeah, definitely an appreciation and a new passion for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I've been in this industry for 8 years, and I have a vast passion for it, and the people that really put the work into making these cigars and making them look how awesome they do.
Yeah. So we appreciate you guys listening to this episode of Embers and Insights. Thank you for letting us rant about these beautiful pieces of art that are on the cigars itself. Please leave in the comments below maybe some of your favorite bands that you've come across. What did I just miss? No, he was laughing.
I was just like, oh yeah, favorite bands?
Linkin Park. Yeah.
Radiohead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ask you a cigar.
Favorite. Yeah. Why are you talking about music, Chris? But no, leave in the comments some designs that you love to see. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to hop on here.
Absolutely, man.
And yeah,
love doing these.
Go check out the podcast he's on. You have any other final words before we wrap things up?
No, I think it's just really, if something pops to you in the cigar shop, online, on cigars.com, it's worth giving it a chance if you want to try out a 5-pack. Maybe look a little bit up about the cigar before you go ahead and make that dive. But I'm telling you, the AJ Fernandez we got here and the La Roma de Cuba, these are fine smokes with awesome bands. So if you're looking for something new, definitely try one of these out and get it at cigars.com.